All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to begin this lesson by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High in the proper names in the Paleo Hebrew tongue. When I say call Halayim, La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakadash Ma'amath, Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, whom the world eagerly and willingly call God or Jehovah, Bahashem meaning in the name of, Yahweh Shai meaning he who delivers, whom the world eagerly and willingly call JC today, whom the world called Jesus today. His name is Yahweh Shai in the Paleo Hebrew tongue. I want to give a double honor to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule well, and another double honor to my elder as well, Aharawan bin Yasha Allah of the Lions Den camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. Salutations to the 144,000 hopeful elect, pushing this truth across the four winds, and to the 1/3 remnant believers on Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Shalom, Shalom. It's going to be a quick lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, and I pray that it be edifying. So, this lesson was inspired by, thoughts that was put in my head today by Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. And those thoughts led me to, I was walking around my job thinking, meditating and talking to the Lord. And then, how sometimes your feet just be moving, but your mind just be racing. And it led up to me, in the bathroom washing my hands. And I looked in the mirror and I said, I'm here, Lord. I'm in it to win it. I'm in it to win it. I'm in this truth to win. And what I'm in this truth to win, that crown. So as I said that, I said, let me write that down. So I went back to the office and I had to hurry up and write it down because, you'll forget it. You'll forget it. So this lesson was inspired basically by the quote, in it to win it. I'm going to start off in the book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 and verse 1. It says, remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. So, right, you have to remember the Creator in the days of your youth. When Yahweh Bahashim Shai first called you, first awoke you up, or start dealing with you in small measures, from that point all the way until he decided to destroy this place, So we had to seek Yahweh Bahashim Shai early, and we had to continue in our walking, continue walking towards him all the way until we no longer have breath in our lungs, So it says, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. So we have to continue to serve Yahweh Bahashim Shai before we see the destruction, before we see, the prophecies come to pass, before we see before we see despair in people's eyes, because one day we're going to walk around this earth and people are going to have despair in their eyes, not knowing who to turn to, not having that hope. So, all right, keep going. It says, verse 3, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong man shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong man shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. So, right, these people are not going to have hope. The people that run this place, the people that run this place that feel as if they keep their wheels turning, those people aren't going to know who to turn to. The scripture said they see that their day is coming. So that's how we have all these news outlets and, everybody speaking on the things that's coming on this earth. So, right, it says, verse 4, and the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound and the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. So, all right, you're going to wake up in the morning, listen to your alarm clock, and it ain't going to be no work. It ain't going to be no, all right, it's time to go to work. It's going to be mass layoffs. It's going to be mass layoff, and we're going to see, the full effect of the tariffs that's coming upon this place. So in that day, because you have 2/3 of our people, they be like, I got my bills paid, my lights paid, you know, my bills and my lights paid. I'm blessed and highly favored. I got gas in my car. I'm blessed and highly favored. So we're going to see if those people still serve the Lord, when they ain't got nothing, you know, because when you ain't got nothing, it's only one person you can turn to, and that is Yahweh Shem Shah. And each and every single last brother that I know personally done been to the point to where only person that they can turn to is the Lord. While 2/3 of our people will turn over to lasciviousness and wickedness and start robbing and killing, and their mindset is, God, please forgive me, I got to do what I got to do. But the men of the Lord, and their families, the ones that call upon the name of the Lord in truth and sincerity, are those that's going to seek the Lord when all else is lost. So, all right, verse 5, it says, also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fear shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish. All right, fear is going to be in every way. It's going to be vultures and demons and serpents and scorpions on every single path, because the scripture says, shall I find faith on the earth? Is time going to come to where people don't have no hope. So they're going to turn on. You're going to see a man. You're going to see the animalistic characteristics of a man come out, and that's a scary sight if you don't have the Lord, because being around it can consume you to the point to where now you're doing it. Look at those that get locked up in prison, and join gangs and stuff to survive, and then they find themselves doing things that they never thought they'd do, So, right, and it says, and the almond tree shall flourish, the prophecies coming to pass, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, right, the smallest thing, be able to tip the scale to this place. It says, and desire shall fail, right, and you see the hearts and minds of these people. Desire is going to fail about your next vacation, your next trip, the next bag you're going to get. You see what I'm saying? These women, the next hairstyle they're going to get, just the pride. It says, because man goeth to his long home, and mourners go about the streets. So right, we have to seek Yahweh Shem Shah before all these things, come to pass, and understand, who our power is, and understand that this is a marriage. You see what I'm saying? Once you start to view serving Yahweh Shem Shah as a marriage, and especially if you married, you understand that it's day by day. It's always day after day after day when you're married to somebody, and when you've been in a relationship with somebody for so long. You see what I'm saying? So being in a relationship with Yahweh Shem Shah, this covenant that we in with them, we have to keep that honeymoon phase. Keep that honeymoon phase and be able to bear what Yahweh Shem Shah put on you, because Yahweh Shah had to bear it, and also taking it cheerfully. Just I was thinking about, I just think about certain situations, that me and my wife was basically going through, like when we was younger. Because I'm 28. We got together young. We've been together for a long time, and just thinking about it, thinking about those situations, it makes me basically have a certain mindset towards the Lord. Because I remember every time I get mad about something and feel as if, the Lord ain't with me in this situation, it'd be demon try to plague your mind, right? Next thing you know, a day later, I've been and got over it, whatever the case may be, to a certain extent. A day later, my old lady, she'd be doing the same shit. And then that's when it's like a mirror effect. The Lord would be showing me basically that you gotta fix this and you gotta fix that, because you doing me like this and you don't want her doing you like that. So basically, when certain situations happen now, when she try to get on my nerves, I know for a fact that I just run to the Lord and stay close to the Lord's side, no matter what. You see what I'm saying? Because in this life that we live in, Satan will try to get to you by any ways, any means, any way he can. Satan will try to get to you. And that's what both of my wives, Satan will try to get to you any way he can possible. So it gets to a point in time to where you just got to understand that everything that you have in this life, it could be taken away. Everything that you have in this life, man, you really don't have nothing if you don't have Yahweh Shemel Shai. So you have to seek Yahweh Shemel Shai in your youth. And when you seek Yahweh Shemel Shai in your youth, that's when everything's going to be added to you in due time. Everything that he needs you to carry. So this is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 9 in verse 24. It says, "Know ye not that they which run in the race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that ye may obtain." So right, this race that we running, we have to endure to the end. You see what I'm saying? So I remember my elder gave me a shirt. The shirt says, this is not an easy road. You see what I'm saying? It's not an easy road. So understanding that we have to run this race and we have to run all the way to the end. We have to endure to the end to be saved. You don't want to get in this truth and then get to running fast. You get to running, then you run out of gas and you got a long way to go. You see what I'm saying? That's not the mindset that we in. The mindset that we in is to endure and to strive and be able to handle the things that the Lord gave you. I want to say run at your own pace, but understand there's something behind you as well. Like the brother R. said, he says, "Oh, the Lord put something behind you and make you run, and He'll put something in front of you for you to run after. The kingdom. We're chasing after the kingdom, man." I remember when I first came to the truth, I had a crazy dream, man. I was sitting in the movie theaters, and then it's like a wave of destruction came over the movie theater. So imagine you sitting in the seats, and the back seats get consumed, but it go up like a tsunami. So when a wave hit, it was a wave of darkness, but all I heard was shit getting destroyed. So once I hopped up out them seats, I started running. I started running, and then everything was getting swallowed up by the darkness. And it was just like a giant wave to where when it fall on your head, it's a wrap. You see what I'm saying? So in a dream, I remember running out, like, calling on the Lord, like, "Lord, no, Lord, please." And then I tripped and fell like a white girl in the movie, man. I said, it's a wrap. And the wave stopped. So serious. I closed my eyes in a dream. It's like a wave. Like when I mean a wave, it's like an earthquake, but no water. It's like a wave, but it wasn't water. It was trash and rocks and destruction. It fall on your head, it's a wrap. So I fell and I tripped, closed my eyes. I said, it's a wrap. I heard everything get silent. I looked back and the wave stopped. I was like, call on Yahweh Shemel Shai. I started running again. You see what I'm saying? I started to get back up and run because I knew that the Lord had stopped that wave. And the wave, and you could see the blood of all the people that was in the movie theaters. You could see straight darkness. It was like darkness, and the wave came from nowhere, out of in an instant. So when I started to run again, I knew the Lord saved me from the destruction, So I'm going to keep going. It says, "Know ye not that they which run in the race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that ye may obtain." So we run it that we may obtain. Most people are coming into the truth, running that they may obtain a corruptible crown. So they may obtain vain glory or fame or riches on this side, like Gorilla Hebrew talking about all this money and the women and all that extra shit that comes with the cares of this life. You see what I'm saying? So right, it says, verse 25, "And every man that striveth for the masteries is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible crown." Right? That's what the scripture said. The wisdom of a learned man comes by leisure of his learning, what you doing in your leisure time. You see what I'm saying? So in our leisure time, we studying to show ourselves approved. In our leisure time, we putting together lessons, we reading. In our leisure time, we doing what we got to do, to add to the cup that Yahweh Shemel Shai gave us. We don't want to be like that wicked, slothful servant, that basically didn't flip the Lord's money, but went and hid it. It's all right. We doing it to receive an incorruptible crown, to be able to partake in the Lord's first fruits, making it into the kingdom, So if it's great. You see a brother get up and you see him walking Saturday, you see the look in his eyes. He had a long week, but he back, and that just shows, that diligence, that discipline, that motivation, that knowing and understanding, you know, that the conditions of the battle, basically. When I go through something, like, man, that's just the conditions of the battle, and it's just a battle that I'm happy that Yahweh Shem Yahshua chose me to fight, and that he allowed me to keep coming back day by day, every day. Because once a person get in their mind that the Lord ain't real, they wickedly depart, and they stop showing up. Once they stop showing up, they feel in their spirit that they wrong, so they try to make excuses for you to stop showing up. You see what I'm saying? And that's what they do. I'm gonna keep going. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 1, it says, "But the souls of the righteous are in the hands of Yahweh, and there shall no torment touch them." So right, you're going back to the dream. The torment didn't touch me, because I called on the name of the Lord in a dream. You see what I'm saying? And that's just what it is, man. So ain't no torment gonna be able to touch those that call on the name of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. So all the things that Esau have on his mind that he's gonna do to the Lord's elect, it ain't gonna prosper. You see what I'm saying? The Lord's not gonna allow Esau, to basically prosper in his wickedness, So right, it says, verse 2, "In the sight of the unwise they seem to die, and the departure is taken for misery, as they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace," right? We're in peace to be in the presence of the Heavenly Father after being come out of great tribulation. The scripture said, "Those that die in the truth are blessed, but those that are be on the earth are much more blessed," roughly paraphrasing, because we still fighting, and we still, and the angels, the hosts of heaven, still watching this movie. You're a character in the Lord's movie, so you down here, Lord, and the Lord got a whole bunch of protagonists, and he got the antagonists, being Esau and Amalek. You see what I'm saying? So the righteous, we represent that protagonist, that's going to strive, that great rags to riches story. You see what I'm saying? That story about the rags to riches and how Yahweh Shem Yahshua redeemed us from the earth. This is a story that we fight. And just imagine the Lord's tabernacle, man. He probably got 144,000 hall up there, to where new bodies are already on display. You see what I'm saying? The time gonna come to where Yahweh, your time gonna come where Yahweh Shem Yahshua gonna put you in them new bodies. I'm just speaking as a man. I this thing that I think about, these things that I think about, you can't wrap your mind around, the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. Only thing you can do is, have that childlike imagination. So, right, I'm just gonna keep going before I start rambling. It says, "But they are in peace," verse 4, "for though they be punished in the sight of man, yet is their hope full of immortality." Right, we punished here on this side. We at the bottom. We ain't super rich. We ain't super poor. But we happy. We happy, knowing and understanding that I can get on here and say, bless the Lord. I'm happy knowing that I can wake up and pray for the elect, and I can call on the name of the Lord. You see what I'm saying? Or just he revealed himself to me and my family. So it's a joy to understand that. You see what I'm saying? So our hope is full of immortality, knowing that one day we're going to live for billions of years. We're going to live forever, and never be able to get sick again, never be able to die again. While these devils, they can't, they wish it was them. It was a show that I was watching called Rick and Morty, and they went back in time, and he was talking about how, yeah, man, I went back in time to a civilization, and everybody was young, man. I was the only old person there, and it was a marvel for them to see somebody so old, and that same show they always talking about an off-brand. It was a show where they was talking about he had to fight Zeus, and the person next to him was like, "Man, that's a god." He said, "Man, that ain't nothing but an off-brand Yahweh." Basically, these devils, man, they be in all type of stuff, man. So basically what I'm saying is they wish they could be us, and they wish they had Jacob's blessing. They wish that Cain offered up a right sacrifice. That's why they constantly trying to be us, man. So they wish they could walk this lot. They have no choice but to walk and be the wicked. you know. And that's just what it is. They can never partake and eat at and sup with the Lord and eat at the Lord's table. It says, for as though they be punished in the sight of man, yet is their hope full of immortality, and having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. For Yahweh proved them and found them worthy for himself. And that's just what it is. We're a little chastised, went through a little bit of things on their side, but we're going to be greatly rewarded, for striving until the end, striving for the masteries, for that incorruptible crown, for seeking the Lord Yahweh Shem Shah in the days of our youth, and fighting and waxing old in our works. So, right, it says, for Yahweh proved them and found them worthy for himself. As gold in the furnace have he tried them and received them as a burnt offering. Right, we're going to be that burnt offering, Lord willing, Yahweh Shem Shah. I'm part of that number if we endure to the end. We're going to be as gold in the fire. When Yahweh look down on the earth, he's going to see Yahweh shine us and understand and know. That's just like that golden ticket. You watch that movie 2012, everybody had that ticket to get into that safe pod. Well, we got it spiritually, So we going to have it spiritually all the way to the end if we endure, to where that's going to be our escape, you're going to cause it to pass under the rod, basically what I'm saying. You ain't going to be Yahweh Shah, you ain't going to be able to pass under that rod if you ain't amongst Yahweh Shah's sheep. So, right. It says, verse 7, in the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubbles, be like the flash, having spiritual power. That's one of the rewards, is that you shall be greatly rewarded. That's one of the rewards of basically choosing Yahweh Shah in a world full of wickedness, choosing Yahweh Shah over your pleasures. We're going to be greatly rewarded. So, right. It says, verse 8, they shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people, and their Lord shall reign forever. So, right. That's what it is, man. We're going to reign with Hamashiach Yahweh Shah 1,000 years, meaning forever. For basically, doing what need to be done on this side. So he going to get that fame, and he going to be super famous, in the kingdom, and we're gonna get little pieces of, well, we're going to get a lot of it as well. So we're going to get a lot of it as well in the kingdom, for fighting every day. Brothers coming in truth at 13, 14, turning 40, 50 in the truth. You see what I'm saying? Apostle Dahari, I remember he did a video, he came in the truth at 24. I heard it. I came in truth at like 20, 23, 24. And when I first came into the truth, I woke up and there was a party going on outside. I was having a dream. There was a party going on outside. I woke up, I just had on gym shorts. I woke up, and when I went outside, I seen Apostle Dahar. He was looking at me. All I had on gym shorts. He was looking at me like, nigga, you naked. Everybody had on their garments, and I was naked. You see what I'm saying? Like, I just had on gym shorts. I was just waking up, rubbing my eyes and stuff. You see what I'm saying? So, I just, it just felt good, man, basically. So that just showed me that Yahweh Shem Shah was telling me to get up and fight. It's time to fight, basically what I'm trying to say. Verse 9, they that put their trust in him shall understand the truth, and such as be faithful in love shall abide with him, for grace and mercy is to his saints, right? They that put their trust in him shall understand the truth. You're going to understand the truth for putting your trust in Yahweh Shem Shah. Those that don't understand the truth fully, they wickedly depart. They go back into the world, and they try to pull you back in the world with them. It says, such as be faithful in love. You have to be faithful in love to even be able, it's just a balance. You have to be faithful in love to Yahweh Shem Shah to be able to wake up and pray. First thing you do, Abba Father. You see what I'm saying? The first thing you do when you wake up is call on the name of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shah. That just shows your love for him. It says, such as be faithful in love shall abide with him, for grace and mercy is to his saints, and he have care for his elects. All right. His saints are going to receive that grace and that mercy, for their sins, for their thoughts and for their iniquity on this side. We're going to get a bypass because our big brother went on the cross and took on all the sins of Israel, So But we're going to get to receive that on this side with 2/3 of our people be destroyed, for not having that love, for not being faithful in love. It says, verse 10, but the ungodly shall be punished according to their own imaginations, which have neglected the righteous and forsaken the Lord. It's all right. They're going to be, the Lord's going to punish them. You lack understanding, and instead of you seeking out knowledge and trying to find the knowledge, you just went somewhere else to try to get it. It's all right. You're going to be punished according to your own imaginations. It says what? Which have neglected the righteous and forsaken the Lord. They neglected the righteous because they didn't want to be righteous. Being righteous wasn't fun. Being righteous ain't feel good. Being righteous hurt. Being righteous got you a little chastised inside of the nations. It's all right. And that's just what it is, man. They forsaken the Lord. You forsook the Lord, so guess what? The Lord's going to forsake thee. You ain't going to have nobody to come through for you. You ain't going to have nobody to rub your back and say it's all going to be okay in the time of Jacob's trouble. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. Nobody's going to comfort you and console you in the time of Jacob's trouble because you forsook the Lord. It's all right. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 71. In verse 8, it says, let my mouth be filled with thy praise and with thy honor all the day. Cast me not off in the time of old age. Forsake me not when my strength faileth. All right, and that's our prayer, man. Asking the Lord, because it's many examples. People coming to the truth and they falling out of the truth, man. They run out of gas. They wick, it goes out. The Lord blow their candle out because their heart is no longer perfect in the sight of the Lord. So you want to constantly pray every day to Lord, keep me in the time of my old age. Cast me not off in the time of old age, but increase me in wisdom, knowledge, understanding. And let me, in the time of old age, if we still here, I strive to be an elder in the truth. Basically, not to be over anybody or to seek vainglory, but to have something to do, to have a job to do and to understand, because it'd be a heavy lot. It's a heavy lot when you're looking over people, and in time of old age, you ain't got nothing else to do. You see what I'm saying? Now you got to fight harder. And that's a hard fight that our elders, had to fight to be over whole camps. So in time of my old age, I pray Yahweh Shem Shai, give me a heavier lot, as a man having sons, to raise. So we all should strive to be elders, but Lord willing, Yahweh Ratazah, we don't even be here by that time. Just speaking on, the conditions of the battles, what if, and the opposite of what Guerrilla Hebrew was saying. We might be here 1,000 years. You see what I'm saying? Nah, if I'm here, if we here another 10, 20 years, you see what I'm saying? Like Noah had to prophesy for 120 years. Basically what I'm saying is I pray to get stronger and not weaker, to get stronger in the faith and to be able to help spread the gospel more, basically. So, right, King David was basically saying, cast me not off in the time of old age, forsake me not when my strength faileth. See what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. It says, verse 10, for my enemies spake against me, and they that lay wait for my soul take counsel together, right? And that's Amalek. Get on the video, tell Amalek, keep his fucking hat on. You see what I'm saying? Tell Amalek you're not a Jew. So many times, so now he's seeking, he all up on you, you know what I'm saying? He all up in you, trying to make you to sin, trying to force you to sin. You see what I'm saying? So he waiting to try to blame you in the sight of the Lord. That's his whole goal. And as soon as he blame you in the sight of the Lord, he gonna come and see if he could touch you. That's just what it is. So right, that says, for my enemies speak against me, and they that lay wait for my soul take counsel together. All up in the damn synagogue with your Talmud open and shit, trying to basically come against the brothers. All your anti-Semitic posters all over this place, trying to come against the brothers for standing so stiffly for the name of the Lord and for exalting the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai like he told us to do. So it comes down to it, you need to use a non-factor when it's all said and done with. And everything that you strive, or Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen, man. So right, perfect precept to bring out. Because the conditions of the battle gonna have you understand the times that we coming into. The conditions of the battle, if you're really in it to win it, it's gonna have you understand the things that you're gonna have to face in the end. So right, and this is Revelation chapter 12 and verse 7. You got Elon Musk, you got Trump, you got these small hatters, basically trying to ramp up the production for the Neuralink and for all these things. But the Lord gonna send Michael to stop them when that time come, and Yahushua gonna be right with them, watching them apply that belt. So this is Revelation chapter 12 and verse 7. It says, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. It says, and prevailed not, neither was their place found in heaven anymore. You ain't gonna see no more satellites. You ain't gonna see no more SpaceX Dragon. You ain't gonna see it. You see what I'm saying? You ain't gonna see it no more. It says, neither was their place found any more in heaven. It says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So right, you're gonna be right back down here with a goddamn farming tool in his hand. You see what I'm saying? Deceive the whole world, making you think that you go to hell and burn forever, making you think that the devil was a red nigga with horns and a pitchfork. No, nigga, it's Esau. It's you, Amalek, the nigga with the Talmud in his hand. You the devil. You see what I'm saying? So your place is not going to be found anymore in heaven. Your ass is going to be Isaiah chapter 14, right in that pit. You see what I'm saying? With a fucking farming tool in your hand, working day and night, all night. You see what I'm saying? It's all right. Come on, man. You deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation, Isaiah chapter 14, and strength, and the kingdom of our power, and the power of his Hamashiach, his anointed. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. Right, that's what he's trying to, he'll set a snare, and then when you fall in his, he'll just like that series Zim. That's what he do. A major sorcerer. He'll set a trap, and then once you fall into the trap, the first thing he do is accuse you before the Lord. Lord, they don't deserve to rule. Look what they doing. You see what I'm saying? It says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb. So right, Yahushua blood was shed for this very moment, for us to overcome you devils, for us to overcome wickedness, for us to put on immortality. It says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimonies, and they loved not their lives unto death. Right? Love not your lives unto death, man. That's why we get on here and say, what we say. Basically cast you down. Cast down your strongholds. Tell people that everything that you built up on this side is a lie. All the information that you let spread is a lie. When it's all said and done with, it just shows that we could care less about the praises of man on this side. We can care less about being exalted, when it's all said and done with. We just want to be exalted by the Lord Yahweh Shemashai and protected. That's why we do what we do. It says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimonies, and they loved not their lives unto death. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. Right? He gonna get to that point to where he don't even care no more, because he see his enterprise falling. So he gonna say, touch the prophets. You see what I'm saying? I'm tired of this thorn in my side. Go get him. Round them up. You see what I'm saying? That's when the Lord gonna what? Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 19. The Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against them when they come in like a flood. You see what I'm saying? So when they come in like a flood, the Lord, he gonna do his job. He gonna do what he gotta do. He gonna give brothers spiritual power, and put his wrath inside of brothers and make brothers, apply that belt straight to Amalek, because they get off. They don't understand pain. Only pain they understand is beating their goddamn head on the wall of Antonia. You see what I'm saying? They don't go through the things that we have to go through on this side. You disagree with them, they hit you with an ante when it's all said and done with. It's all right. He gonna come down with great wrath because everybody ain't feeling them no more. You see what I'm saying? Everybody ain't feeling him no more, so he gonna try to come and touch us because we the ones who started with it. They was praying, would have got away with it if it wasn't for you meddling Israelites. You see what I'm saying? So they the ones over there calling on Yahweh. They the ones pushing that spirit across the four corners of the earth. Now Iran want to fight me. You see what I'm saying? When it's all said and done with, man, it's all right. It's all right. That's just what it is, man. We don't care. We're going to keep calling on Yahweh about your mouth shot, and we're going to keep watching your ass fall. You see what I'm saying? We're going to watch you fall, and we're going to laugh at you. We're going to point the finger at you. You see what I'm saying? Let that be that. So this book of Matthew, chapter 24, and in verse 12, it says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And we see it. The love of many is wax cold. I seen in the last 3 months, I seen a scenario last week where a lady was fighting somebody. She had a baby in the stroller, and this big grown-ass woman, when they punched that lady baby in the face, they're going to run. You see what I'm saying? It's just childish. You see what I'm saying? Have no type of understanding, no type of wisdom. The hood rat mentality. It was another situation to where a dyke, I believe, shot a lady baby in the leg. You see what I'm saying? It shows like these people, have no type of sympathy. All they know how to do is be bullies because that's all that happened to them. They got bullied. So now, if you say you a demon, you got the next nigga thinking about how he could be a greater demon. You see what I'm saying? So this nigga, so now it just shows that this society, they uplift sodomites and they hate children. So we have to be here to basically speak against them, man. They hate children, man. So it gets to a point to where they whole mindset is to hurt the weak. But one day your ass gonna be weak. One day you gonna be that worm on that experiment table, and Esau splicing your ass up. You see what I'm saying? Now your top half is you, but your bottom half you got goat legs and shit because Esau wanted to play with you and splice you up. You gonna be that worm on that table, because these people that hate the weak. It's all right. It says, verse 13, but he that shall endure unto the end shall be saved. So I already have to endure the things that we're going to see on this earth in order to see the salvation of Yahweh Shem Shai. You have to endure the wickedness that's finna exceedingly pollute this place. In order to see Yahweh Shem Shai's salvation, you have to endure to the end. You see what I'm saying? It's all right. Keep going. A few more precepts, close it out. But this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 11, and verse 20. Going back to the point, in it to win it. It says, be steadfast in thy covenant, and be conversant therein, and wax old in thy work. So right, you have to be steadfast in your covenant. You have to know and understand why you fighting and who you fighting for. You see what I'm saying? You have to real deal have it in your mind to obtain that crown. Think about it on your head. Think about how it's going to feel, how it's going to float. You see what I'm saying? How it's going to shine. You never have to wax it. When it's all said and done with. Think about how it's going to be walking in the streets of the kingdom, knowing that you fought for Yahweh Shai in the most wicked time on earth. You see what I'm saying? It's all right. Be steadfast in thy covenant and be conversant therein, and wax old in thy works. You want to wax old in thy works. You want to be in it to win it. You want to be in it to win it. Oh, that was the last precept. I already got that. It's all right, man. Just what it is, man. That's what it is. You want to wax old in your work, and pray, constantly pray that Yahweh Shem Shai cast you not in your old age, and ask Yahweh Shem Shai to increase you and give you more wisdom, knowledge, understanding every year in this truth, every month, every day in this truth. So when the time come, you will be a light to someone that was once in darkness. When the time come, you'll be there to spread the good news when it's time. And I pray this lesson was edifying. Shalom, on to the next.